Hello, welcome back to Go and Walkabout. Today I'm going to work on some offline support. If you're following the series, you know that back in Ireland I had some troubles on a remote place to create proper posts. Today we're going to live debug that issue. When you're traveling, you get to places where not always your cell reception is good. So yes, I want to have offline support. And I chose Firestore because of its offline capabilities. But when I was testing this on my last road trip to Ireland, I noticed that it doesn't always perform the way I want. Today we're going to investigate that and I'll take you along on the journey. So what have I done so far? I have disconnected my laptop from the internet, I have started the simulator and we're looking at offline cache data. Now if we return here to the simulator, we see our trips again, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a post and see what happens. So this is an offline, offline post, and we're going to save it. We save it and nothing happens. So the dialog doesn't close, but is it saved or not? We don't know. So let's go and dig into this a little bit deeper. This all happens in the trip post edit view controller, and we're going to find the place here. I already put some breakpoints here where we say we press the action save button and then we create the trip post. If the trip post is successful here, it should go and print created the post. It should call the delegate that the trip is cached. It should synchronize the cache and it should dismiss the dialog. So it looks like it is not getting here. And in case of an error, it should print an error. Now here we don't see any error, so that didn't happen. So let's first look what happens if we do this again. And just to make it a little bit more clear, we also go into this create, and we'll put some breakpoints here as well. So we first say we get the ref data, we have an on failure and an on success. And now let's see where we end up when we do this again. So we go again to the simulator, we close this. We go back and surprise, the offline post is created. So apparently it does get created, but it is not dismissing the dialog. So we need to investigate what is happening here. So we create another post. We call that offline 2. We save it. Now we are getting into our breakpoint here. It takes a little bit of time before it is to the point that we can continue. We will step over, we have no images, we're going to create some data here, and that is the data of the post. Well, that all goes the way you expect. There's no place, we have no media, so it will continue and it's going to create this post. So let's see where we end up. We create the ref. Now if we step through and we're out, we continue and we don't go anywhere. So neither of these breakpoints is hitting and none of these breakpoints are getting triggered here that the post is created and the problem is created. So what can this be? Now let's go here, and what we see here is that the ref data, when we set additional data, we update the post, we actually expect a completion handler to be called. Now I was digging through the documentation and researching this a bit, but that completion handler is only called if the remote data is updated. So we don't have a failure because the data is correct, and we don't get into the success handler because we are disconnected from the internet. So in order to make this work, the documentation says we have to move this actually outside here so that we can assume that saving the offline data and the local data will never fail. It gets updated and then the success handler is called, and from that point on the dismiss and everything should work. Now I honestly find this a little bit of a strange way of doing it, but this is what I've been able to find so far. So let's go and test this scenario. Okay, let's start the simulator again and see what happens when we do this. It takes a little bit of time, it needs to build, and soon the simulator will start. It's loading the data. We go to our post again. We're going to do a plus, and this will be offline 3. and we're going to save it. And now immediately you saw it happening. We get back in our handler of the action button. We go through and we can continue this. Let's put a breakpoint here as well. We continue to the create. Now if we continue, we actually get into the create. We continue again. And now we are getting into the created post. So the success handler is gold. And since we get into the created post, also the post is nicely saved. The dialog is changed and it is there. So actually we changed one line of code and suddenly it works. Am I happy with the solution? No, not really. But at least this is what will help me in the future to make it a little bit more robust. Now, I have been using the same way of storing and updating data in a few points. So I need to go through my whole data store management code to see what is the best way and how to solve that, because this probably will happen in a few more places, but this is the one that is more obvious. Now, after we have done this and we now go back, we have been offline, and you remember from the caching episode that we build a cache. If we now go to the cache, there's actually no offline images because we didn't create a post with images. So let's create a post with images, and then we'll see that those images are also stored offline. So we go here, we say plus, we say offline with images. We go and select, let's say, these two images. We say done, done, save. It closes immediately. We disable our breakpoints and we continue. We see the images, and now if we go back, we see here that we have two pending images. There's no internet connection, so the images will not get pushed to the internet and to the online storage. So now let's enable our internet connection again and see how we can get it triggered that those images will get uploaded. So I enable my, put on my Wi-Fi again. It needs to find that. We have a connection again, but there's no way to trigger the synchronization of the images, because I can clear the cache. I definitely don't want to do that because that will remove all my cached images. And there's no way to flush it. I can go to a post and actually nothing happens. So there might be something weird now with retrieving data. So we need to investigate this as well, because what is happening here, apparently it doesn't work very well yet with our thing. But we did see here a sync of an image and an uploaded image. So let's at least check now, and it has disappeared because the image is apparently uploaded because of some syncing. But it is very strange why we don't get any data shown here. So let's stop the simulator and start it again and see if that resolves the issue, because I really don't know what is causing this, but it is definitely something we need to investigate, because if you're in a spotting area with on or off internet, this might happen to you also when you're on the road, and that's what you don't want. Now we go here, it's nicely loading. So there's nothing wrong with the actual post, but our, let's say, local infrastructure was confused of what is happening. And I need to investigate this a little bit deeper because I don't want this to happen, but I'll save that for a later post. So I hope you enjoyed it, doing some live debugging and troubleshooting of an issue that was on my mind for quite a while, but I just didn't get to it. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. If you don't like the video, subscribe it anyway, because maybe the next one will be better for you. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.